Hello, guys. Hope you can hear me out there. I wanted to start just a little early so I could kind of work out the kinks with things. And if you hop in online, please go ahead and just drop me a chat if possible. I will need some participation in chat in order to address any questions. And yeah, I really excited to be doing this with everyone, and getting a little bit of rain here in Winter Garden. Just to let you know, we're near Disney. We're probably 3 miles away from Disney. Very close to Animal Kingdom. So in the Four Corners area. So when I say Winter Garden, if you're familiar with the area, we're kind of in the, I guess it would be in the southeast corner of Winter Garden. My wife has a better sense of direction than I do, but she'd probably say, no, it's here, but and point me to a compass. But yeah, I hope you can hear me. I hope my mic's coming through. I'm getting some little green dots, so I think we're good. I did want to start just a little bit early. If you're seeing me live here, I don't see anyone's joined yet, so I'm just talking out to the ether. That's okay. I just wanted to start talking to give myself a little bit of comfort and a little bit of relaxation before we start seeing people pop in, hopefully. And if not, I'll just talk to the ether and you can catch it later. It will be, it will show up on YouTube after the fact. So, anyway, I hope that maybe some of you have gotten the opportunity to check out the what will be three-part conversation that I've had with Ashley Polk of Ramsey's PWS Adventures about her experiences with Ramsey. And also she had some questions very pertinent to my life and life experience about Prader-Willi syndrome. And she wanted to come through and ask me some of those questions that she had been wondering about. And she knew that there were a lot of parents out there that were seeing me with the channel Chronically PWS that may have had the same kind of questions about my life and life experience. So they were very pointed questions about my marriage, about the adoption process, about and here's my Raylyn, who has popped up behind me. Don't show your tongue. She's being a little crazy now. She knows I'm live. So anyway, so really, really great experience doing that chat with Ashley. I really enjoyed that time. I really enjoyed seeing Ramsey. I hope I have some opportunity to FaceTime with some of you all as time goes on, and to meet your children. And it's such an awesome, awe-inspiring and inspiring, just an inspiring thing for me to see so many kids out there that are facing the challenges that I faced, and some that I didn't face, but that I have the opportunity and the privilege to see kind of grow and to overcome some of those battles that I overcame. And it's just unbelievable. So again, I'm 45 years old, adult with Prader-Willi syndrome. And I was born in a very unique time for the syndrome. It definitely, it was discovered back in the 50s, but really at the time, I believe that the clinical criteria were definitely being kind of fleshed out in terms of what were the symptoms that that folks were facing. So, and I see it's 7 o'clock now, so hopefully we'll have some folks join in the live. And I do apologize. I've been kind of, if you're just about to pop in and join me, I've just been doing this for about 5 minutes. Just wanted to kind of get here and get a little warmed up, if you will, doing the live stream. So, yeah, I was born in 78 and diagnosed in 82. And during a time when really a lot of the clinical criteria were kind of being fleshed out for Prader-Willi syndrome. And I had failure to thrive. I had hypotonia. I was actually born with jaundice. I did have a umbilical cord distress that left me with some left side paralysis. And again, some of this kind of goes back to the conversation that I did with my mom about the circumstances surrounding my birth. So, grew up in North Carolina. Really, the big hospital, Children's Hospital in North Carolina, was Bowman Gray Hospital, and I had some excellent doctors there. I saw my first developmental pediatrician at that hospital, who did the evaluation for Prader-Willi syndrome, and went to a normal, went to a preschool. Was in preschool. I had a excellent director of that preschool who really supported my mom and was an ally to my mom initially. Her name was Mrs. Patterson, and this was at Grace Covenant Preschool in Asheville, North Carolina, at Merriman Avenue Presbyterian, I believe. And it was Grace Covenant Church. I'm sorry, on Merriman Avenue. I don't think it was Merriman Avenue Presbyterian. And they really assisted my mom with addressing the dietary needs that I had. Again, we were looking at really restrictive, of course, diet with Prader-Willi syndrome. And even then, there were things they were really, really concerned about the caloric intake. So a lot of the foods that I ate were kind of anacaloric foods that kind of you consume that take more energy to burn and digest than what you would actually intake from the food. So things like celery sticks and carrots, things like that. And then really low glycemic index fruits, apples, things like that. I was really crazy as a kid, and we all are. We love the simple carbs and the sweets, and as you do with Prader-Willi syndrome, you love those things too. So a lot of the modifications to my diet were around trying to make sure that I felt included in some of my favorite child foods, like ketchup on chicken nuggets and things like that. That I had modifications of that kind of food, so I could still partake in it. And so I had some artificial, not artificial, but unsweetened, like tomato paste ketchups and really low calorie soups that were made just to kind of make me feel full in the evenings. Again, intake was still a problem, and there was a concern that I would ever consume, as there are with all of our kids that have Prader-Willi syndrome. But I was definitely closely watched with my consumption. So again, Grace Covenant preschool, and went on to just a normal or a standard primary school, excuse me. And really, maybe the first 8 months of school, I didn't have a whole lot of difficulty with things in terms of that being the more about socialization when you first get into school. But I did have some challenges and was held back from going to first grade. So they wanted to keep me just a little bit longer and kind of see me growing in some things before I could go on. So again, time now is just about 7:05. We haven't had anybody hop in yet, but that's okay. This is a new thing, and again, Raylan's going to put a show on for you in the back by doing these handstands, and my forever gymnast. You can see her bar in the back. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I know 7 o'clock may not be the best time for a live stream, but I really just wanted to get an opportunity to jump online and to kind of get a consensus. If there's some time that would work better for you, then that would be great. Just to let me know, and you can either drop me an email or again respond in the chat, or send me a message later attached to this video if you decide to view the live stream. Let's see. I could go on and talk for an hour with really not any questions pretty easily, because there's a lot of things I could talk about regarding Prader-Willi syndrome. So today I'll just tell you how my day went, and just a little bit about my day. I had a hematology appointment today, and I had some blood work done today. My hematologist, so I dropped a video earlier a couple of weeks ago regarding having a and who ever joined the live stream, thank you for coming on. But I had some blood work done, and I don't know, my numbers are really low right now, and they've kind of plummeted here in the last week or so. And I'm waiting to hear back from my hematologist about what the next course of action is, if I'm going to actually have to have iron. I kind of averted having to have iron earlier. It was funny because I had went and had an iron panel done, or a blood panel done to see how my iron was doing back in February, and it was low. And then by the time I got into the oncologist/hematologist, the hematologist said that we'll start you on iron, but before we do so, I'm gonna go ahead and do the order. I'm going to repeat your blood panel just to make sure how, kind of give me a baseline on what we need to do with your iron. Hey, Sea Bear, thank you for popping on. I appreciate that. So I had that repeat iron done, and the numbers were good, actually. So he had already scheduled the iron infusion sequence for me, and that was about to start. So ended up canceling the infusion sequence because I no longer needed the iron. He said, well, this is a turnaround, interesting turnaround. I'll go ahead and check your numbers again in 3 months. So today was my 3-month checkup. And I went in and we talked a little bit about my general health and what was going on. And he said, "Well, let's repeat the blood work." And it wasn't good. So hopefully I'll get a response. Now let me talk about the condition a little bit, about what's leading me to this anemia, if you will. And anemia is kind of a fickle thing, and it can affect a lot of people. And I'm not necessarily, I don't have like I don't have a bleeding condition that's leading me to anemia. Now, I might hear recently, but for all intents and purposes, my anemia is not caused by that. My anemia is caused by chronic disease, and that chronic disease being the constant infections that I have. And if you don't know, the reason I have these infections is I was born with, as having Prader-Willi, I was born with a condition called, a reproductive condition called hypospadias hypogonadism, and I've had numerous repairs, almost 40 repairs over my life with this condition. And I do get these constant urinary tract and bladder infections and different infections going on in regards to that. And because of these constant infections, they colonize. For one, I can kind of get them to go away, but they're kind of hanging out in the background, if you will, and just kind of thinking that they may pop up at any point in time. So because I have these antibiotics and I'm being treated with them, and because I have these constant infections, over time, your body kind of gets tired, if you will. Your immune system gets tired of trying to fight these conditions. So you develop this anemia of chronic disease. So that's really what I'm facing now. It's not a major anemia that you face with this. It can be very subtle at times. It does get progressively worse, and it will need to be treated eventually. And by treatment, you're looking at iron infusions with that. And I would say that the iron infusions, it's great to have them. It's really, there's not a point after you get the iron that you feel like, oh, this is amazing. I feel so much better than I did before, because it's really subtle on how it affects you. But I know it's important. And I know for me to keep up my immune response, which is highly important, is I need to have good iron numbers. I need to have good blood numbers. And that's going to help me when I do face that next run of antibiotics, kind of deal with the infection. So that's how my anemia of chronic disease works in this situation. Now, the infections I have, again, just going back to them, I've had numerous antibiotics over my life. A lot of those were restricted antibiotics because I had resistance to the normal antibiotics that you would take. So I developed allergies and resistances to these standard antibiotics that the individuals take, like Keflex and ciprofloxacin, things like that. So it became, over my life, it's become more challenging to treat these infections because of the allergies and because of the sensitivities that the infections can have. So anyway, just really a challenging ordeal. I've had, let's see, talk about antibiotics and history of antibiotics. I don't know if many of you are familiar with them, but things like amikacin, vancomycin, gentamicin, linezolid, which was really novel at the time. I think I was probably one of the first people to be treated with linezolid, which is a synthetic antibiotic. And linezolid is just like broad spectrum, just completely. It's an oral antibiotic, which is awesome, but it does take away or it does, kill everything, every good and bad bacteria in your system. So just about. So that was fun. And, now the situation that I face, obviously, we're all different with Prader-Willi syndrome. We're all in different areas of the spectrum of disease that is Prader-Willi syndrome. So with these infections that I face, your loved one may not ever have to deal with these, or if they have to deal with these kind of infections, it won't be to that point. The reason I have these infections mostly is because, the time that I grew up in and the advancements that needed to occur over time for the conditions that I have. Initially, like I said, I've had, it'll be probably 40 procedures if you were to count them all. I know there were like 8 major, and then I've had a bunch of little small procedures as we go along. I think when I totaled it up, it was approaching 40, but your loved one may not have to deal with all that, or I can guarantee you they probably won't, because of the advances in medical science. Folks mostly with these conditions and with hypospadias, they can have one major surgery, and it's timed very importantly within their growth and development to happen at the most opportune time that they need it. So again, the time that I lived in, the condition that I was born in with Prader-Willi syndrome and with that hypospadias condition, it was something that I had to have a lot of procedures to try to mitigate and try to help with. So again, the antibiotic situation may not be something that your loved ones have to face. So, which is really awesome, and I'm really happy about it. And with every advancement, I'm just really blessed that that for one, when new things come along, they seem to help me a little bit, but more importantly, that the next generation will be greatly helped by these advancements. And again, if you hop in, if you're joining, please chat. That would be great. You can position any questions to me that you wish. I'll be happy to answer to the best of my ability. I'm a pretty open book, and I'll be glad to discuss, any problem that I face and my experience with any problems that you may face. Now, going back to my hematology appointment today, with the doctor and looking at my blood numbers. One thing, I had said to the doctor, and it's been difficult here, wasn't so much, I used to live in Greenville, South Carolina. I had a great internal medicine doctor there. And here I have a family medicine doctor, but I haven't really been able to secure an internal medicine doctor, one that I'm excited to, well, not excited, but just feel comfortable with, to say that I'd like to go see that internal medicine doctor. So I just brought it to him. I'm like, I really need to find someone in internal medicine to help me because of everything that goes on. It seems like, if I had that perception of the internal medicine doctors to say, hey, I've got this, and this, and they would give me the advice of, well, let's do this, or let me think through your condition and through your anatomy and see what can be done or see what I think should be done. That would be great. Going to a family medicine doctor at my age and just going to a primary care physician, family medicine. It's just kind of difficult because they want to, what are you currently facing? What's going on? Here's some medicine. See you later. And that's fine. And I would say 80% of the population, that's going to work great. But for me, it's been a challenge. So the challenge that I have now is I'm seeing these specialists that are seeing me for specific things, but I'm really needing to communicate kind of my everything medically. So maybe I could get a gleaning from them, even though it may be out of their specialty, so to speak. Maybe they can give me some input about how their specialty may be affected by these other things that I've got going on. So with the anemia of chronic disease, with gastrointestinal things, with the pancreatic things that I've got, the exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, how that kind of all marries, so I'm having to communicate a lot with these specialists to try to say, hey, is there something I'm missing, or do you have any ideas? One thing that the hematologist, kind of going back to the hematologist, one thing that he noticed for me was that my right leg is swelling, and it's not really bad, but it is swelling. And it doesn't really indicate that, hey, I've got any kind of skin infection or anything like that. It's really, and we discussed this, and I told him with my Prader-Willi that, for that leg, I do have that dominant leg, and this right leg is shorter than the other leg. And, told him a little bit about my history with orthopedics. And he's like, well, you really need to put a lift in that shoe. That's going to help you out. And I said, yeah, you're probably right about that. And I told him I've been moving my leg back and forth, my right leg, it really feels stiff too. And I can kind of hear that joint pop with the leg. So I know that shortness in my right leg needs to be mitigated some way. And a shoe lift may be a good course of action for me to do that. So I'm going to be looking at that, looking at procuring a lift. And hopefully that'll give me some time here for my other joints. I told him, I said, I'm probably going to need some kind of hip replacement at some point in time because of the way that hip is doing. But he's like, we'll put a lift in your shoe because you want to make it, you want to make the hip go as long as you can. So I definitely want to do that. So yeah, it's about 7:24, and I saw that we had about 4 people pop in, and now we have 1 person in. So if that's Seabear, awesome, Seabear. Anyone here that's watching the live stream, thank you again for staying with me. Again, I'm just going to continue to talk because I'm really good about that. I'm really good at kind of talk. Braylon, get your hand out of the frame, please. Thank you. All right. She's being silly, but that's okay. Okay. Anyway, 7:22. So hematology, hopefully they're going to order something for me soon because I know that that's going to help me face the constant infection that I keep, infections. And just to talk a little bit about my day, it's been, I wouldn't say it's been my best nutrition day. I probably ate some things, some junk food today. But I'm really missing my wife now. She's on a girls trip with her cousin and sister, and actually we had one vehicle that we're sharing, and I took her to the train station so she could ride the train to Jessup, Georgia. So I am here this week with my daughter and my niece, and we're going to. I'm sorry, what, Raylan? Oh, and Piper. Sorry, Raylan wants me to. She's reminding me about Piper, our Boggle, right? She's a Boggle. She's a boxer beagle named Piper. So you might have seen her in some of my other videos. So she's always good company. You know, she is. She likes to cuddle. Not Raylan, but the dog. Raylan's not a big cuddler, are you? Yeah, that's okay though, right? All right, Raylan's playing Roblox because my wife, thank goodness, she left some Robux for Raylan to enjoy, and so she's really partaking in that. But and you've got a science test that we're going to work on, right? You're going to study for your science, right? We're going to work on that. You got your physical science. Big ideas we're going to be studying. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be doing that, and this weekend. Oh, tomorrow, Top Gun, right? Yay! Tumbling. So she loves her tumbling class. She's been in gymnastics for, gosh, how long?
2, 3, 4, 5. No, all 3 years.
8 years?
3.
No.
What?
Since you were 3, we had you in gymnastics.
2.
2. Okay, 9 years then. Great.
Well, actually not really, because I quit.
No, yeah, here and there, right? But so we had 3 people pop in and 3 people pop out. So that's cool. And anyway, Raylan, please get okay. She's playing in the frame. So, but that's okay. We're just doing this for the first Friday here. Just working through it. So again, if you're just joining us or about to join us, about to hop in the live stream, it's okay, Sea Bear. Yeah, I appreciate it though. Sea Bear's giving Raylan some bombastic side eye, right? It's what we say. Bombastic side eye to tell you to get out of the frame. So, but it's okay. She can hang out here. It's part of my life. She's part of my life. And I love her being here. So, again, please drop in a comment if you decide to join the chat, to join the live stream. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Love to know where you're from. You're the parent, you're the individual with PWS. Just identify yourself, and I'd be glad to answer any questions for you that I can about my own experience. And if you want to share something about your experience and we can talk about that, that would be great as well. I really am blessed and excited about the opportunity to come to you guys, to my community, and talk about the syndrome that I faced and that you face and that your family members face. And I think we can be a great source of strength for each other. And we can kind of convey each other's experiences with the disorder and with the syndrome, and we can glean strength from that. So it's something I'm really excited about. I'm really blessed to have a lot of great friends so far in this community, and again, to be welcomed and warmed into it. It feels like becoming part of a family. It honestly does. So I'm really happy about that. And it's just a great blessing, and it's worth a source of strength. And I do encourage you that if you're watching and your loved one's facing Prader-Willi syndrome, to get involved if you can, at a point that you feel comfortable with. There's a lot of negative information, a lot of positive information out there, and you don't have to argue every point with everyone. You can only, you can get up and say your truth about how you were dealing with Prader-Willi syndrome, whether it's yourself dealing with your Prader-Willi syndrome or it's with your loved one dealing with Prader-Willi syndrome. You can kind of, feel free. This is a safe space, and we can talk about it, and kind of share with each other and gather some strength from that. So, again, I didn't do this until now as a 45-year-old male because, again, in realizing that, I was being a little bit selfish about not stating what was going on for me and the success that I had and the challenges that I had and my experience with those challenges and how to overcome them. And it's not really selfish. I can't really say it's selfish for anyone, but my life was to try to be, to just be typical, to not kind of stand out from the crowd, just to be looked at like any individual and not by my condition. So really didn't disclose it to a lot of people, to my close friends and, to a few people I did disclose to as time went on. But at this point, I just felt like because I had kind of come to comfort with social media that I could really actually do something and be a positive force in the community. So that's why I kind of stepped out as an adult and said, hey, I have Prader-Willi syndrome and I'm married and I have a degree in music from Western Carolina University, been married for 16 years and I have a daughter that I love very much and a family and a home that we've enjoyed. This is actually our third home that we've lived in that we purchased. And, it's I have those same challenges that everyone has with moving and Prader-Willi is not the only chronic illness out there, of course. And a lot of us face, other illnesses, diabetes and things like that we have to overcome as well. It's just that Prader-Willi is a rare illness, as we know, and it's one that should be talked about more. So again, that's part of why I'm doing this. I want to bring awareness to Prader-Willi syndrome. And, I just really, really want to dedicate my life at this point to doing that. And the reason I have this time now, again, if you haven't followed me in my journey with Prader-Willi syndrome, is I actually had to step away from the workforce back in 2019. And because of my chronic illnesses, to step away from the workforce, that I wanted to, again, go ahead and at this point, now that we kind of got through the pandemic and we could be with each other again, start getting more involved in the community and being helpful there. That was my hope and goal. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm making myself known and presenting myself to our community. I had this video series that I'm working on now with Ashley Polk of Ramsey's PWS Adventures. She, in a way, I had made a couple of videos. She and Ramsey kind of inspired me to do more, and she reached out to me directly and communicated. And then I started getting contacts from all over the world. I've spoken to people from Egypt, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Australia, from Canada, just all over the world, wanting to know about my experiences with Prader-Willi syndrome and share their experiences of their children that are thriving with Prader-Willi syndrome, And it's just been really inspiring how, getting to hear from all these individuals about their experiences with Prader-Willi syndrome and, being able to share my story with them as well. And I was really blessed to be kind of in the right place at the right time. Moving here to the Orlando area, unbeknownst to me, didn't know that the National Convention was going to be here. So until Ashley had mentioned that to me, and I said, well, it's kind of all lined up, so I should probably go to the national convention. And we worked it out, and I got to attend the national convention and meet other individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome, including Ashley and her son Ramsey. And it was it was the greatest blessing, really, just to meet all these folks and to kind of share a little bit about my story and my my life with Prader-Willi syndrome. So it was just really, really a great thing, and open things up for me to even having chronic illness and issues I didn't talk to. I'd always mention my primary care doctor, here, but definitely internal medicine doctor back in South Carolina, that I had Prader-Willi syndrome. And as an adult, you've pretty much seen most of what you're going to see in terms of the effects of Prader-Willi syndrome, but alluding to the age and how the other parts of the body and the systems are affected by it, you may have other things going on, depending on what your life experience has been. Prader-Willi syndrome, you have all these other underlying things, but when age comes up, that's something we're all going to face. It may be a little bit different on things you see as an older adult. And there's not really a lot that you hear from other adults in the community. I'm only familiar with a couple of people that are really advanced in age, that have Prader-Willi syndrome. One lady online had mentioned that her son had just turned 60 years old, and that's great. To see that someone's past that milestone is just inspiring to me as well. And going back to that, when I was diagnosed, and the doctors had said, he might live to be 21 years old. He might live to be beyond his teens, but that may be the only thing he sees, moving forward, given his other problems. Well, thank goodness, thank God that, I lived beyond that age. And, in my mind, I kind of said, well, I've got to live to 40. I just have to live to 40. I can live to 40, with all these problems. I know I can do it. And now I'm at 45. So I guess everything at this point is just like butter. It's just like extra topping to my life. So I would have felt bad, and I'm just blessed with the opportunity now to share my story, making it to this age, and to be able to communicate with everyone, my history and the things I face. So it's just been a blessing. It really has, to go to the convention, to meet these folks, to be involved now with the PWSA of Florida, to meet some of those great individuals and parents, and seeing again that the same battles that I faced growing up are still being won, and the kids are still overcoming the hyperphagia, the orthopedics, and all those other conditions that we face. And I am very blessed in how Prader-Willi syndrome, how I've been affected, and that I have been affected in a way that I've been able to work through. And I've seen a lot of progress in individuals that are, facing some very difficult situations orthopedically, and have some definite struggles, to see that they're making a lot of great progress as well. And that there's other awareness efforts going on out in Prader-Willi syndrome as well. There's a lot of individuals, a lot of parents that are stepping forward to tell their story, to tell their child's truth, come out and share that with the world. And I think the world's going to get to know Prader-Willi quite a bit more. And I'm really excited that maybe, as I get up in age, that it'll be a more of a household name and that people will be more familiar with it. Not only that, there'll be more treatments and more medications to treat the hyperphagia and the other genetic or the other growth issues that kids have with the disorder. And obviously, human growth hormone is a great step in that direction. And for me, HGH, not HGH, but HCG was a great step as well. So that really allowed me to take off and grow to a point that I wouldn't have otherwise. So obviously, and the growth hormone in itself is doing things and making the other systems of the body do better, because of the growth hormone. For those individuals that face scoliosis, for those individuals that are facing hyperphagia, the growth hormone is really making an improvement in their lives and the quality of their life. So I think that's great. I think there's going to be other medications. I think there already are other medications out there that, we're trying to get approved to help with hyperphagia. And not only that, by helping with that hyperphagia, we're also helping with the mental stability and mental fortitude of these individuals that are facing the hyperphagia. So that's really exciting. And like I said, like I had told other people, if we can get a handle of hyperphagia, if we can get a handle of this emotional terror that hyperphagia puts you through, this agitation and this pain, this monster, then if we can get a hold of that, who are these individuals going to be? I mean, because obviously I'm a different person than who I would have been had I not had HCG. So I really want other kids and other young adults to have access to these medications, because I want to see who they can be, because I know who I am and I just want them to have the opportunity to be the person they know they can be. There's something within that person that to some extent Prader-Willi is kind of masking with the hyperphagia and with the other problems. So I'm really excited to live in a time to see these advances for these children and for these adults facing it, that they could maybe finally get a hold of, get a hold on to the hyperphagia in itself. So again, time now is 7:42. If you're just joining me, please hop in the chat, make a comment if you can, if you have access to do so. And I'd be glad to address any questions that you have regarding my history and what I've faced, and address any questions about that. So just kind of going back to being an adult and having Prader-Willi syndrome and kind of growing up, working, I've been working just like a lot of us do. I've worked since I was 16 years old. And I started off at Mickey D's and like a lot of people do, and went into grocery stores with Prader-Willi syndrome, and then onto customer service. And that's where I found a lot of success, and kind of doing roles in customer service that were kind of consultative, and things where I would talk to people about their financial situation, and I did credit counseling. I went through budgets with folks and tried to help them with that as well. I wish I would have retained some of those skills for myself, so I could have used them a little bit better in my own life. But so did that, and did banking, and then I worked for Capital One. I was a credit card fraud investigator. It's probably the best job that I ever had in terms of overall sense of satisfaction, and I just love the research of that. So that's what I did, and then I went on to into further finance, went from Capital One and then worked for TD Bank. And TD Bank, unfortunately, hey Piper, that's my beagle or bottle, if you will, Piper. So went into TD Bank, and I was working for the auto finance division of TD Bank, and became kind of a lead for that, for the Greenville location, because they were moving from Dallas, Texas to Greenville, South Carolina. And we only had one or two directors in the department at that time. So by me being one of the first two leads in the department, or three actually, then I was going to be promoted to supervisor. But I was having a lot of difficulties with my condition at that point. So I really tried to hang in there. And I knew that, first off, I knew that I couldn't really take any promotion. And I actually requested a demotion when things kind of fell through with things came up with my health. So they granted that. I had FMLA. They were a great company to work for. And so I took the demotion and just went back to the customer service. And that was fine. But as time went on, it just the other conditions, the infections and the struggle got more intense. So I had to kind of step away. And that's when I pursued, not working basically, and stepping away from the workforce. So very blessed that I was able to do that with the support of my family, the support of my wife and my mom. And it took like it does anyone else, because I had worked so successfully in the workforce for so long, they had to evaluate the fact that my medical conditions, granted the fact that I should be disabled for Social Security to disability insurance purposes. So did that, and fought that battle, and was finally granted Social Security disability, and that got me from the workforce and able to take care of my chronic illness just a little bit better, which I'm very blessed with. And again, it is a struggle with disability and with the chronic illness, just trying to think at any point, like I go through times where I feel great and I feel like I could just take the next job if somebody offered it to me, or I went and applied, that I could do it. But then, something happens and it becomes difficult to even get out of bed again. So, that's a struggle that as you get older with chronic illness, that you may end up fighting. And it's hard when you work for so long and you're so happy trying to pursue work and trying to earn money for yourself, for your family, to say that I can't do this anymore. It's grief. There's grief to it. And we all face that, this disenfranchised grief that we have. Some of us face it with the fact that we can't drive, or we can't have children, or we can't do certain things, and we face the grief. And I had to come to terms with it myself by, basically finally conceding the fact that I wouldn't be able to work consistently again. So, it was painful and it was hard to work through, but it's something that I did, and I don't feel ashamed by it, because, I gave everything I could in the time that I could give it. And now it's afforded me the opportunity to give my life to this, and to give my life to my community, and to be able to be there for my wife, and to be there for my daughter, and to help take care of them, and fortunate to enjoy those things and to have that life that both me and my wife built. And again, it's been a struggle, It really has. It was a struggle getting to school. It was a struggle getting through school. It was a struggle, dating. It was a struggle finding my wife. It was difficult. It all took initiative and pursuit. And I think we all have to do that. We're going to all have to take the initiative to put ourselves out there and try to achieve the things that we want. And I hope for you, as I hope for myself, that you have people there that are helping support and push you along, and that they're holding you and they're carrying you to these goals as I have been carried to them. And that, you don't have that many people standing in your way. There's going to be people that stand in your way. There's going to be adversity. But I hope within yourself, you have to search and find the strength to do these things, and you can. And although some of you may not do these things in the terms that you see that I've done, and some of you may end up doing greater things than I've ever done. And I definitely hope for that. I hope that I meet a doctor with Prader-Willi syndrome. I hope that I meet a lawyer. I hope I meet an engineer. I hope I've met an accountant. I've seen an accountant. I haven't met the accountant personally, but I've seen the accountant. I've heard of the accountant. I've seen stories about folks that have done so well. So I hope that for you, please, make a full life, show the world what you can do, because you can do a lot. The way you come into this world with Prader-Willi syndrome, it's pushing down on you like a weight you don't even think you can carry or lift. And if you can overcome and carry and lift that weight and press it off of you, even a little bit, you're going to find strength in that. And that strength is going to help you get to the next achievement in your life, whether that's just being able to stand from the hypotonia that you're born with, or to be able to step with that hypotonia, to be able to run with that, to be able to walk, to go through spinal fusion surgery if you have scoliosis, to wear orthopedics if you have an incorrect gait, to back away from the food you really, really want because that little monster in your mind and in your belly, hyperphagia, is telling you you've got to have it. You have strength within you because, again, you're born with this weight. It's not the weight, the physical weight. It's the weight of the disease and how it makes you feel. So you're stronger than than anyone will ever know. Very strong. So once you lift that little bit of weight that Prader-Willi presses down on you with, in that discomfort, you can use that energy to achieve anything you want to achieve. I really believe that. And in my life, I've made my dreams come true. Initially, all I wanted to be was just a typical person. I wanted to work. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a child. And, on my own terms, in my own way, I've done that. And I'm so blessed and so fortunate to have done that. And I think for all of you, in the way you feel and the battles that you face, you can do it as well. You can find that strength and you can make it on your own terms. And your terms may be have a biological child. It may be to, get married at 18 and stay married until you're 90. It may be a long, happy life. It may be a single life that's awesome too. We each have these terms, and we all need a vision of what we want for our lives, because that vision that's out there just isn't the vision that some of us want to see. There's definitely the vision out there that our parents don't want us to see. So we have to make that vision for ourselves. We have to be strong, and we have to imagine the things that we want and who we are and how we're going to make those things possible, because they can be done, because we can take that energy from the energy that we use to overcome these battles, and we can use it to build our lives with. I really, if for every week I'm just sitting here saying the same thing, that's fine. And I'll continue to do it, because that's what I want our people to know, that I want people with Prader-Willi syndrome to know, people like myself, to know that for every battle that you win, that energy that you used to win that battle can be redistributed to make your dreams happen, to make them come true. And we're all born with that weight of diagnosis and the weight of the pain of hyperphagia for some of us, and the need to thrive. And we can thrive. And once we've overcome those things, again, we can take that energy and reapply it to make our dreams happen. So again, my name is Jared, and thank you for tuning in to Chronically PWS, to our very first live stream. If you came in and dropped a like, or just viewed the live stream as it's going great, thank you for coming. And I will be doing this every Friday at 7:00, unless I get an overwhelming response. Otherwise, it needs to be at a different time, and we would join you, then I'm going to continue to do it. And as I have demonstrated here, I can definitely talk for more than an hour about Prader-Willi syndrome, about my life. And again, if you watch this video later and you have any questions regarding anything that I've spoken about today, definitely, write that question down, keep it in the back of your mind. And for the next live stream a week from today, at 7:00 Eastern, I'll be happy to address that question that you think of. I really thank you, and thank God for you, and thank the fact that that this community has opened up to me and allowed me to share my truth, to share my story. And I love you all. If you need someone to pray with, if you need someone to talk to, if you want to know more about me, definitely message me. Drop a message on any of the videos on this channel, and I'd be glad to respond to it. And again, I love you all. And I'm just going to sit here for the next 2 minutes, and we'll end this live stream. And I want to thank my wife, Catherine, for her patience with me and through all of this. And definitely thank my daughter, who's been patient and supportive, and attending the family day with me last weekend. And definitely thank my mom, who really got me this far, and has really terrifically supported me through all my health trials, and then onto this portion of my life to share this with everyone. So I just want to say thank you to all those people. Thank you to those that are watching the videos and responding. And I'm really happy, and I want to continue to do this. I want to continue to have this space open for folks on Friday to chat and to come on and listen to me talk about Prader-Willi syndrome. So again, if you're traveling this weekend, I wish safe travels to you. And if you're headed to a different city or state to get some medical care for your loved one, good luck and safe travels in that trip. And again, this is Jared with Chronically PWS, and I'm going to sign off of the first live stream. I hope you have a great weekend. God bless you. I love you. Please message me, and we'll talk to you again soon.